All right, well, welcome in, folks. Here we go for the Week 3, Season 2 preview of this week's games. We have a great slate of games coming at you. All five this week coming at you Tuesday nights live. Make sure to check it out. And it should be an exciting week. A lot of interesting matchups. A few teams looking to avoid going 0-3. A few teams looking to go 3-0. Let's see if Gray can stay atop the standings, and let's see if Maroon can get out of the basement this week. So, what do you think, Nahoda? What's going to be the highlights of the week?
I've got the 0-2 matchup, one because I'm playing in it, circled. But let's not skip over a massive gray versus blue rematch, the biggest rivalry of the year last year, accounted for about 30% of our banter chat. But more on that. Okay, we have a special guest calling in. Some know her as Big J Miraball's fiance. Some may know her as Ellie from Stellar Smiles. And most of you know her as the fan mistress of the Blue Collar Ballers. Joining us now is Ellie from Stellar Smiles. Ellie, welcome in.
Welcome in, Ellie.
Hello. Hello,
What's
hello. How
going
are
on?
you?
Good,
We're
good to
good.
see
How
you.
are you? You are live on the SDL Live podcast with Joey and Matt.
Nice. Hi, guys.
Hi. So the reason you're in here today, we need to talk to you about the big early season matchup between the Graybeard Goats and the Blue Collar Ballers. Obviously, last season that was a wildly contested rivalry, and we just have a couple questions for you. One, who are you rooting for in this game?
Well, Jason's not in the grade team anymore, but I've always been a blue baller fan, to be honest. So I'm rooting for the blue team.
Awesome. You mentioned it. Now that Jay is not on the Gray team anymore, do you like Gray more or less without Big J there?
Well, there's a lot of team members that left the grade team,
That's true.
But shout out to Bobby and Rosenberg for the blue team. I still root for the blue team, even though they got beat on Tuesday.
They
I
did.
still, yeah, they got beat, but I still recognize some good players, and hopefully on Tuesday they'll beat the great team again.
How about it? You shouted out Jason Rosenberg. We need one thing. Who is your favorite player? And it might be Jason, but who is your favorite player from each team?
Um, from the blue team, that's hard. They're all really good. I don't wanna, I don't know. I don't want to say a favorite. They're all really good. I don't have a preference. They're all really good.
Fair enough. How about the gray team?
Perfect.
The great team. I mean, they're all really good. They're all good.
You're too polite.
Yes, they're
Also,
good.
what do you think about Jay's new team, the White Sneaker Warriors? What are your thoughts on that this season?
Um, he he seems very happy. They're doing good. It's a strong team for sure. But I don't. I think. Um, what can I say? I don't know much. I don't know much, but I know that he's just very happy. So
That's
I
good.
think I think they're a strong team for
They
sure.
did get their first win this week, which is good for them. So good to see them on the right path.
Exactly.
So hey, give us a quick shout out for Stellar Smiles for us.
Okay, well, guys, you guys need your mouth guards. You guys are playing very hard. Your guys are getting hurt all the time, but please protect your teeth. They're very, very important, so you can eat and mingle and socialize and look good. Wear your mouth guard when you're playing sports. If you want to just get a checkup, make sure that your teeth are nice and healthy so that if you fall, they don't break really fast. Just come to Stellar Smiles. It's in Boca Raton. I'm offering a very special discount for my SDL players and just wanted to share some love. So come to the office and I'll take care of you.
And don't forget, folks, Stellar Smiles also specializes in Invisalign. If anybody's looking for Invisalign, shout out Stellar Smiles. I know they're very good with their Invisalign product.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for everything.
Thank
So
you.
100%.
okay,
Thank you for stopping by and having a chat with us, Ellie. Good to see you.
thank you. You too. Bye.
But why don't we start out with our 6 p.m. game? Purple Patio Pounders, 8.5-point favorites versus Yellow. Purple coming in 2-0. Yellow starting 1-1. Full squads.
Yep.
Everybody's playing for both of these. A couple really interesting notes. Ian versus the purple team. Ian has been transformed since leaving the white team at a mid-season trade last year. Went to purple, had a couple 30-something point games, really changed the dynamic for purple. And now with DeMar out on yellow, Ian is going to work over there from an offensive perspective, really picking that up. I'm expecting this game to have a lot of shooting, a lot of fast pace, and frankly, because the bigs on these two teams aren't really those huge inside presences. I'm anticipating this to be, I'm not going to say high scoring because we don't know what the percentages are going to be, but let's say high flying, fast paced, and a couple of teams that have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. What do you think about this game?
I'm excited for this. Like you said, it's the Ian revenge game. How does he do against his former team? He's been bopping around the league a little bit, team to team. But I'm excited for. I'm not sure what the matchups will be, but like a Lewis versus a Vasquez with a little on his name. Excuse me. Who's going to come out on top on that one? Because we know both of them like to shoot. They like to get their shots up. They have a similar-ish game, similar size, build, everything like that. So let's see who can come out top for that one. Also, let's see if Brandon Silver can keep up his high scoring output now for the purple team. I know last week he shot around 60-something% from the field. Can he keep that up? It's going to be tough for yellow. There's still, like I said, you lose your number one player in DeMar. You fill him in with Rudy. I'm not saying that's a huge downgrade. I'm just saying it's tough to lose your number one guy, bring in a new guy, try to gel mid-season like that when you already had a brand new team put together. So yellow coming off a tough loss last week to green. Do they bounce back, or does purple go 3-0?
I think all four purple, knowing more about Ian and his game versus Ian knowing about the four guys on purple. Ian can't cover all four at once. I'm taking purple and -8.5. I think they're going to win by double digits here versus yellow.
I agree 100%. I'm taking purple, the 8.5 points, obviously on the money line. If I'm covering the 8.5 spread, I think purple, it might be close to start. Yellow can hit some big shots, but I think purple's going to pull away as the game progresses. So that's just my thought on that one. Both, from what I know, full squads, like you said before, purple just has the advantage right now. They're rolling. They have team chemistry. Jared, Vasquez, Sissio, Silver, Wright from downtown. They're rolling right now. They're going to be a tough team to beat. So segue into that, the game 2 of the night, we have the White Sneaker Warriors versus the Red Eye Rebounders. White is right now, they are a 4.5 point favorite, only because Fur of the Cow, Eric Coffer, he is out for Red. So they'll only have 4. Now, Red is 2-0. They beat an undermanned green team week 1, and then they dismantled another undermanned black team last week. So are they really 2-0 worthy, or do they just play two teams that are missing some of their better players? We'll find out this week. Berg is also out for White, so it's going to be a 4-on-4 matchup, but Berg was out last week for White, and they seem to play pretty well without him. I'm not sure. I didn't get to see him. I missed week 1. So right now, it's a 4.5 point spread. Like I said, White's on top. It's going to be, in my opinion, the first or second best game of the week. X factor for White is going to be Alex. If he's hitting his shots, they're very good. If he's missing his shots, they will get blown out. Just like week 1, they couldn't really put the ball in the hoop. But it's the law of averages. He shot poorly week 1, shot better in week 2. Just getting his feet wet in the STL. We know the STL legs are really bright, so he's going to take a little while to get acclimated. He seems a little more comfortable now. Shout out, Alex. Will Javon stay hot for the White Sneaker Warriors? He was on fire from 3 last week, hit 7 threes. Alex almost hit 7 threes. What is Red going to do without Coffer? Obviously, they have Escobedo, who's the one-man show over there. He can do anything he needs to, but I'm excited to see the Escobedo versus O'Hearn matchup, if that's what the teams decide to go with, because O'Hearn is quietly turning into one of the better defenders in the league. Obviously, Escobedo does whatever he wants. So let's see if O'Hearn can slow him down a little bit like he did Rosenberg last week. But besides that, what are your thoughts on this game, Jay? Who do you think is going to take it?
Yeah, I think Red is a juggernaut in this league. I think Red is a good team. That being said, they have to be at a full squad. Having Calfer out is really, really tough. So I'm going to take White money line, but I'm going to take Red plus 4.5. I think that game is going to be really close. I think Javon does stay hot. And I think, I think we have an Esco 32-point game incoming with Fur the Cow out. I think they'll do good to free him up with O'Hearn, saying a lot of picks, etc. So I think Red's going to make it close, but I think White ultimately wins the game.
I'm gonna differ from you just a little bit here. Usually we're on the same page. I'm gonna take White with the points this week.
Okay.
I think they're rolling. I like the matchups. I believe this is just off the top of my head. I don't know the lineups or what they're going to roll out there, but a Javon versus a Rosenthal, O'Hearn, Escobedo, and then you got Alex and Gene, and then lastly we got Snyder and
Big J.
Big J. So in my opinion, they're probably actually going to put Escobedo on Big J. I mean, he's their only big guy. That's what they got to go with. So we'll see how they roll out there, see if they can keep up, see if they can slow down Red's hot scorers, and see if White can keep shooting. So I'm giving White the edge this week, and I'm going to go with White 4.5.
Love it. Next game of the night, game 3. Black -2.5 versus Joey's Green Lawn Gladiators. Both teams enter the game 1-1. Jose back for Black, so obviously Black is going to be running on full cylinders. Green, I said this earlier, you guys may be the most well-rounded team in the league. You can shoot, you've got some height, you've got the ability to move the ball, you've got great defenders. Big question though is who on Black can match up with Dr. J, Jason Perry? I'm not really sure if there's somebody on that Black team that can really stick with him and cover. My guess is it's going to be Bubbles Bregman, who's a very good defender in his own right, but I'm not really sure what that's going to be. And then obviously the two big matchups to witness down low is Lon the Don versus Andrew Nogues. Nogues obviously a huge height advantage over everybody except for Big J. And you versus Jose. Again, I don't give away any spoilers. My guess is if I was the green team, I'd be putting you on Jose. You got to fight through those picks. Watch on those switches because Lon's going to have a mismatch inside. Or you got, if you don't fight through, you got Jose versus Nogues 1-on-1. You have to talk about that. Obviously, you don't want to be too self-serving here with your own team. But what do you think? I'm going to stick with. I'm going to stick with Black money line, and 2.5 is a pretty small number, so I'm going to take the points with Black and say Black wins by 3 or 4.
Yeah, 2.5 is almost basically a pick 'em. But for my watching Black team last season, one of their better defenders and mostly their lockdown defender was Armando, and now he's on green. So is there an Armando revenge game incoming for us this week? So let's see if he can be contained by Black there. Like you said, me and Jose is a very good matchup. Lon the Don and Jose have a very good pick and roll game that they like to play. That I'll be working on. I'll be trying to get over that, get under that, make sure that no one's wide open. Obviously, if Lon goes down with me on the block, that's a huge advantage for him, height wise and skill wise. So we'll try to avoid that. But me myself, this might be biased. I'm going with green this week. When we have our full team, we roll pretty well together. Like you said, Perry is our engine, so we're going to look for him. Try to get Rob some open threes, feed Armando in the post, maybe a little bit of Nogues down there to see what he can do against Lon the Don, or maybe he can slow Don down low on the block. But that's gonna be a good one. Like you said, 2.5 points spread. That might be game of the week. I'm gonna take green with the points and the money line. That's a little biased, but I think we pull it out this week. If Jose goes crazy, Black's gonna win. But if I can hold him, under his season averages, I think we have a really good shot. Then segueing not last game, sorry. Fourth game of the night, we got we got Orange. We had a little switch up in the schedule. We got the Orange Crush versus the Maroon Muscle. Saka is missing for Maroon. He rolled his ankle last game, halfway through his first SDL game. Don't like to see that. Get well soon, Saka.
Waka Saka Flame, shout out.
Waka Saka Flock of Flame. But he was definitely playing with some flame last week, But someone's going to leave with a W, and someone's going to leave 0-3. Who's it going to be? So that means when I see two teams that are 0-2, I see a lot of intensity in this game. Maybe a penalty box might come into play. We don't know. But no one wants to go 0-3. That will really set you back in playoff hopes. You know what I mean? So no one wants to leave like that. Two teams scrimmage preseason without Saka. I don't know how that turned out, but they know each other a little bit. I know that Sean can shoot better than expected, but Maroon right now with Saka out there, they're missing a little something. They got Scotty Pepper, who's a triple-double machine. They got Lebo, they got Sean, they got Berman, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, but they're missing something to bring them all together. Their chemistry seems to be lacking right now. It's not a lack of talent. It's a lack of something like an it factor on Maroon. So if they can figure that out quickly, maybe get out to a hot start, build up their confidence a little bit, because once in a while, last week when they were getting blown out, you could tell the body language was not good. They need someone to get hot. In my opinion, Orange 6.5 is a low spread. I think this is more of a 9.5 point game. Orange should be favored because Orange, looking at their roster, it's much more talented than their record shows. Like we talked about before, they played two of the better teams in the league, and they're just gelling as well. Diaz has been putting up the stats, but the percentages have been low. Nahota and Diaz learning to play off of each other. Vlad still getting his feet wet. Rabbit's learning his teammates at the point guard position. I think I think Orange wins this one. I think they get out of the basement. I think Maroon moves to 0-3. I believe Orange covers the 6.5 spread pretty easily as well. What do you think, Nahota? I know you're biased. You're on Orange, but let's hear your thoughts.
Of course, and would love to share the details of that scrimmage, but I'm bound by NDA with Lebo to not share any information about our preseason scrimmage. Yeah, look, I think in this game, Sean's really the X factor. He played really well in that scrimmage. I will say that. He's been shooting pretty well this season, and he's going to drag me out of the paint, defensively. So that's going to open up things for Scotty Pepper down low. But that being said, I'm going Orange money line and Orange minus the points.
Agreed. I think that's going to be Maroon missing the point guard. Obviously, I only seen Saka play for half a game, but he's going to have the ball.
Good half.
With him out, they don't really have. It's tough when Scotty Pepper has to play point guard because obviously he's the tallest guy as well. So that really pulls a lot of height out of the paint and everything like that. And he don't get many easy shots because he's trying to set everyone else up. It's a lot easier game for Maroon if they had a traditional point guard to dish the ball to Pepper to get Berman in open threes, because Berman was on fire. He hit a lot of threes. He really got beat by a tough great team. He was hitting some shots. I played some pickup against Sean, and he can hit some shots as well. He can get hot. So, but once again, I think Orange wins this one and handily.
Absolutely. Pivoting to our final game of the night, shout out to Gray. That Gary the camper was going to miss the game. Gray reached out proactively and said, "Hey, we'll go back a spot if the 9:30 game can get Gary there." Gary agreed and said he could make it, so that's why Orange has moved up one slot, which is fantastic because I hate 9:30 games. And Gray Blue, which I'm going to say, on paper is not the game of the night. It's a 15-point spread, 15.5-point spread, Gray 2-0 versus Blue. But this might be the game of the night because we all know the rivalry that existed with Blue and Gray last season. But before diving into this game, we have a special guest calling in, and let's begin. So we'll do that, and then we'll play her clip or whatever. We'll come back.
Yep. Should we also speak on how? Well, I'll get into that actually when I break down my part of this game.
Yeah, cool. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Spaghetti. Like I said before Ellie, shout out Ellie. Thank you again. 15.5 points. Absolutely. 15.5-point spread, largest one of the season so far. And it's really curious to see how Blue reacts to being a double-digit dog at home. Gray's averaging over 90 points a game. Look, we said this a couple times now. Gray played the preseason, two bottom preseason teams in Maroon and Orange, and now they're facing an 0-2 Blue team. So that means Gray's going to be playing their tougher stretch of the schedule right before the playoffs. So curious how that's going to go. And Jason Rosenberg needs a bounce back game here. So hopefully we see that from him. I think I got to say, I think this game is going to be much closer to 15.5. I know Gray's blown the doors off of people, but Blue rises to the occasion when they play Gray. Last season, the White Sneaker Warriors played Blue, 3 times, beat them by a combined nearly 150 points. And it didn't matter. Blue beat Gray a couple times and then, played it as tight as ever. So I think this game is going to be tight. I'm taking Gray money line and Blue plus the 15.5. What do you think, Joey?
I'm right there with you. Also, that 15.5 has to have a little asterisk next to it. I believe that line was before we knew Gary was coming back. So with their base center down low, that's got to be a much closer spread, in my opinion. And also, like we said with the last game, both teams were 0-2. Blue being 0-2, they don't want to go 0-3. So they're probably, they're going to go balls to the wall, in my opinion, this game.
Like
they're
a
going to go
caged animal with their back against the wall.
Correct. So, with Rosenberg having a off game last week, and with Edey breaking the record, I believe in law of averages. I don't think Edey can break the 3-point record. Rosenberg's going to only score half of what he usually does every week, so that should make this game pretty much a lot closer. That Blue has a good team. I mean, if you're looking at their roster, they're much better than their record, but Gray is a juggernaut right now. So they have to figure out how to slow down the Splash Brothers and how to, keep the role players of Gray, if they are role players, or even above average players, obviously, under their season averages. You know, you gotta stick to Dennis, you gotta stick to Edie. But there's fun matchups in this game. Just thinking off the top of my head, I don't know what they're going to go up lineup wise, but I mean, you got a Dennis versus Rosenberg. You got Baumauer chasing Edie around. Baumauer likes to play that feisty, fiery defense. You know, get up in your face. You got Furman, who's definitely a fiery player. So we'll see. We got Gary versus the Wall down low. That's a nice big man matchup. Gary usually plays very well down low if you feed him and he has space. So I like Gray on the money line, but I like Blue with the points. Obviously, the 15.5. I think with Camper in there, the spread's closer to maybe an 8.5 point spread. But I like Gray money line, Blue with the points, and Blue could actually pull this one out. Like I said, no one wants to go 0-3. They're going to come out with some fire. If they hit some shots early, get their confidence up. Bobby Buckets is their X factor. When he comes out and he hits a lot of shots, they seem to roll a lot better. That pulls some attention off of Rosenberg, gets Baumauer some open threes. If he can knock them down, they could play with anyone in this league. But that's going to be a pretty good game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, one more shout out to Stellar Smiles. Thank you for the sponsorship. Thank you, Ellie, for joining us on this podcast. Yeah, absolutely. Please go visit Stellar Smiles for all your mouth guard, Invisalign needs. They're located in Boca Raton. We're also going to put their company information up right about here. Give them a call. Tell them Ellie and the Suburban Dads League sent you. This has been SDL Live pregame week 3 season 2 podcast here with Joey and Jason Eady. As always, guys, thank you so much. Have a good night.
100%. We'll see you guys Tuesday. I'll be on the call. Make sure you tune in live. Have a good week. Till next time.